Welcome to Gold Derby. I'm senior editor Denton Davidson here with Audrey Morrissey, the four-time Emmy-winning producer of The Voice on NBC. Audrey, we're wrapping season 25. What an incredible milestone. Can you talk about what that means to you and your entire team?
Um, it means a lot of hard work for 13 years. It means a lot of gratification, a lot of pride. Yeah, I mean, a real sense of nostalgia and pride and accomplishment. And yeah, it's a real marker. You're catching us in the middle of the finally putting the final touches on like packages, retrospective packages, looking back and pulling old clips. And it's really put everybody in this like feel good, nostalgic feeling about the show and like really remembering, like, oh my God, whether it's looking back at all the coaches we've had, um, or, standout artists or just like funny laughs. I mean, there's been so much life that has been lived in these 25 seasons, whether it's our staff and crew getting married and babies and, deaths, like all of it, coaches, everybody. So it's pretty cool.
And it's four Emmys for reality competition series, but 76 nominations total. You've also won like a handful of other Emmys for like the incredible lighting department. How does that recognition feel for the team as a whole? Like when you have moments like that, when people are being nominated, there has to be a celebratory feeling just on set.
Yeah, there is. I mean, I think one of the great things about the show is it's everybody is really supported and feels like they can do their thing. Like there's not this real heavy hand of micromanaging. Like you got to do it my way and it's got to be this and we have to, outside of standards and practices, it's really a very creative, flourishing, thriving, like try it, go do it. So I think everybody's really thrilled when a department is recognized for their creativity and their high standards, really.
And you and Carson Daly have been in this together from day one. So what's it been like to have him alongside you, not only as a producer, but having him out there on the front lines serving as this great host for every season?
Yeah, I mean, Carson is incredible. Nobody but Carson and possibly me in a different way know how tough those live shows are. I mean, there's an army of people turning the stage around, this, that, and the other thing, but sometimes we have last minute changes, or sometimes a teleprompter will go down, or sometimes like all these technical mishaps might be happening, and you would never know it by Carson's delivery. It's like things are melting down around him, and he is delivering it like so. It's incredible to have a partner like him. I mean, he's really the best that there is.
And what keeps things fresh after 25 seasons? Like what keeps that passion going for the show?
Um, for me, it's really, and I think for most people, I think it comes down to three things. One, it's the fans. They still love the show. They still come up to you. You hear all the time, "Oh my God, my mom loves the show. My sister loves the show. I grew up in the show." People love it. Two, I would say it's the artists coming through, like these fresh-faced people giving it a go. I mean, there's all that hope and possibility and excitement that we're part of their journey. And then it's the swapping of the coach chairs. Like new coaches come in and they also bring with them like their new dynamic and their sense of everything, whether it's genre and music and singing and coaching, or their comedy chops,
Yeah.
good natured ribbing. So that's what keeps it fresh.
Well, Dan and Shay came in this year, the first double chair. So that was an interesting twist. Who is in charge of building the double chair? And what was it like adding that dynamic to the show to have sort of like this little two-headed country monster in the middle of the panel?
Yeah, it was great. We had been thinking about it for a while. I believe it might have even been season 1 or 2 in Holland. They had a double chair. It was like a DJ duo.
Okay.
So they would have to like consult. We thought that was interesting. We weren't sure, um, how we would do a double chair if and when. But then this opportunity came up and we thought, Blake has left, we're looking for more country voices in the show. And we thought, oh, there's Dan and Shay. Why don't we try this? So there's been a lot of learnings. Um, like for instance, on the live shows, and I screwed it up the other day on Monday, and I was paying for it in the show, but in the live shows, you only have a certain amount of time to speak, and sometimes it's pretty short. It might only be 30 seconds. And so we had this rhythm with them that, okay, you guys know if it's 30 seconds, you both have to talk in that time. You each don't get 30 seconds,
Yeah.
like one thing. And so that was the plan. And then I had forgotten that we agreed that, well, when they were speaking on behalf of their own artist, they each would definitely speak. And so all of a sudden I saw one of them talk and I'm like, okay, we're moving on to the next. And then I thought, why is Shay talking now? Like, he shouldn't be talking now. We should be on to the next one. I'm like, oh God, what am I going to cut? How are we going to speed this up? I need to make up this time. So that was a learning curve, like a very recent takeaway learning curve that just happened a few days ago. But outside of that, it was just like learning their rhythm, what
Yeah.
their dynamic was, how we weave that into the show. They're very funny.
And take us behind the scenes a little bit and talk about how much work it is to secure the right mix of judges for each seasons because they are rotating. These are busy musicians. I mean, these aren't people who aren't working. So they have huge careers. They can't always come back every season. They're touring. So what goes into, finding the right dynamic of people and then coordinating at least four of them to show up?
It is it is crazy difficult. It
Yeah.
is not easy. It is not for the faint of heart. You have all these like big plans that you're going to have it like tied up in a little nice bow like 6 months out, like no problem. And you start thinking about it really early and it never works out that way. You're always down to the wire and something happens. And it's always been difficult. It's always been fun and exciting, yet not easy to like get the right mix and build out, lock them up, have them hold these dates that it all works. But it got exponentially harder as of last summer and now this summer, because now we're shooting 2 seasons at the same time.
Okay.
And or if somebody wasn't available, you could, okay, we can move it to next week. We can slide it a few days, and you had a lot more leeway. But now, trying to shoot 2 seasons, it's so rigid. You have no leeway. It's very difficult. But I mean, look, the process is we're constantly in conversations with people year round. We're constantly like trying to meet people and sit with people and talk about it. Would they be interested? Is this something they like to do? Do they want to come on and mentor and test it out? We're constantly meeting with people. It's exciting. I mean, it's a real growth process of the show.
But it's a time commitment for people who, I mean, if they do have a tour that they have to go take time. I mean, and so I was going to ask that, is the mentorship aspect of it, is that a little bit of a, I don't want to say interview process, but can you get an idea of what they would be like as coaches when you have these mentors come in? Because we do have Michael Bublé and Snoop Dogg joining next season, and they've both been part of the show before. So you kind of got an idea of what they're like as personalities behind the scenes.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, for anybody to come on the show, whether it be to perform or mentor, just to meet them, just to get a vibe off them and a feeling, you get a sense of, for both ways, do they enjoy it? Does does it make sense, or is it a good fit? So that is one way. I mean, it definitely helps, but by no means is it a requirement. Um, there have been plenty of people that have come on that I don't think were mentors ahead of time, and certainly plenty of people that have mentored that haven't been on gone on to be a coach. But like Shakira, I don't think she had been on before she had been a coach.
Yeah.
Same with Miley, I don't think. Um, a bunch of them. Alicia, I can't remember. Can't, anyway, it's hard to remember, um, but is it a good thing to do? Yeah, it's great. If that can happen, it's great for both sides. Because there's some people that we'd love to have come on and they don't. They're like, it's not for me. Like, I don't like that. Um, but it is funny because even if someone comes on to mentor, the mentoring will show you how they will be as a coach, as a mentor, the coaching part, but it doesn't necessarily show you how they'll be like in the blind auditions, pitching
Yeah.
themselves. And that's a very different situation. So that's, that's been interesting. Everybody has to sort of find their voice, so to speak. Like, how are they going to fit in what their lane is?
Well, I'm very interested to see Reba and Snoop face off. That's going to be interesting.
So
Uh,
great. They love each other. They can't wait.
do you still get surprised, like when votes come in and you see who goes home, like every week? Like, are you still placing bets behind the scenes, and you're like,
All the time.
is you like, I can't believe this person just won.
All the time, like all the time. Sometimes it's so clear and the voting goes exactly as you anticipate, and other times it's a head scratcher. You're like, wait, what just happened here? So, but it's subjective, you know. I was just telling someone else, my 81-year-old father was crushed that Nadej on Team Chance was off. He was texting me in the show like, she's wonderful. I think he's got the winner. Like, my dad was all in on Nadej, was crushed she wasn't on, thinks like America completely got it wrong. But then I said to my dad, did you vote? No, didn't vote. So
Exactly.
I'm like, my friend, you got to vote.
The
So
voting matters.
it really does.
Um, and talk about the unsung hero, the band. I mean, they're incredible. How do they manage to work through all these different arrangements with all of these different singers? Because they're not just singing hit songs. They're a lot of times they're reimagining them in completely different variations of what we know them as.
Yeah, well, first of all, as you said, they're the unsung heroes. They're just absolute beasts at what they do. Um, but they're incredible. I mean, they're a well-oiled machine. They've worked together as a band far before they even started on The Voice. I think I don't know this stat. I should look it up. I think they've learned like 10,000 songs or something. I mean, it's something absolutely insane. Um, but as you point out, the arrangements, it's amazing when an artist comes in and they have an idea, or artist and coach have this idea and they pitch it. Um, and that we can execute on it. Sometimes it really also comes down to what round it is, because some rounds we don't have the bandwidth. Like, if every single person came in and wanted to reimagine the song, we wouldn't be able to do it. It's
Okay.
just, we don't have the time, because that does take time. And it also depends on if the artist has a really clear idea. Like, some artists that we've had are like mini producers themselves, and they've come in and they even have backing tracks, and they're like, this is it, I've got it here, and it goes very quickly. Others are a little more amorphous, a little more vague, like, I think I want it like this, but I'm not quite sure how to get it there. And that's when the band really comes in and says, well, if that's what you're going after, maybe we do this, this, and this, and just try to get it going in the right direction for them. but that does take more time.
Yeah. And it also speaks to the contestants that you have, because they are from all different backgrounds and experiences. I mean, some people are 45 and have been background singers for legendary musicians, and then you have like a 14-year-old come on who, so I mean, there is going to be those different dynamics and how they probably interact with a live band.
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, some people have never been on a plane before, let alone sung outside their bedrooms. And they come, and others, as you say, have been 6 feet from the greatest voices on the biggest stages touring the world.
Yeah.
So it's all relative, and that's what's amazing about the band.
Yeah.
They work with them all, they treat them all with the same level of respect. It's great.
Well, congratulations on 25 seasons, all the success that you've had, and hopefully we'll get some even more Emmy nominations for you guys this season, and they're well deserved. Such a wonderful show, and I just can't believe how you guys keep it interesting after all this time. Congratulations, and thanks for joining Gold Derby today.
Yeah, of course. Hopefully there'll be 25 more. Good
Fingers
try.
crossed.
Exactly. Thanks so much. Good
All right,
to see you again.
you too. Bye.